Now, this song was written for the musical Tuscaloosa's Calling Me, But I'm Not Going, back in 1975, over 45 years ago. And it was written by Hank Beebe and Bill Heyer. And our friends Paul Kreppel and Chip Zien took over as replacements in the show. It ran over a year. And I thought I'd like to sing it to you today. Some of the people you'll hear are people from 1975, but I think most of the song is sadly just as appropriate today as it was back then. It goes something like this. La 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 la. No one ever gets raped in Kansas City. No one ever gets mugged in East St. Louis. Only right here in New York City could anything possibly happen to you. No one ever gets robbed in Las Vegas. Assault is unknown in Denver too. Only right here in New York City could anything possibly happen to you. And then there's Washington. A trip to Washington is a trip you should never interrupt. They're all so wise there, and no one lies there, and no one's ever heard the word corrupt. No garbage uncollected in Atlanta. Miami streets are safe the whole night through. Only right here in New York City could anything possibly happen to you. La 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 la, eat a banana, everybody sing along. On second thought, don't. No hippies clog the streets of San Francisco. No junkies in LA where'er you search. It only happens here in New York City. The rest of the world is safer than a church. No hookers walk the streets of New Orleans. Phoenix folks have never heard a gun. All this only happens in New York City. The rest of the world's too busy having fun. And then there's Albany, exciting Albany. What a great place to have yourself a ball. After 9 o'clock, you're in culture shock. How long can you stare at that goddamn mall? No one ever gets strangled up in Boston. Chicago doesn't even need police. All this only happens in New York City. The rest of the world is only love and peace. And Philadelphia, oh Philadelphia, what a job Philadelphia can do. They really sell for ya in Philadelphia if you enjoy the atmosphere of World War II. No children are molested in Cleveland. No violence in Detroit since '32. All this only happens in New York City, and everything I say, I swear, is true. Just like no one ever worries about what Ford is gonna do. That goes for the one in Washington and the one in Michigan too. No one ever worries about inflation getting tough. No one ever worries that there'll be gasoline enough. Richard Nixon wanted the world to hear everything he taped, and no one ever gets raped in Kansas City. It only happens in New York. I hope that brought some laughs to you.